Hello, everyone. Welcome to our webinar on automated billing in NetSuite. My name is Christian Bowe. I am one of the solutions consultants here at Millennium Business Solutions Group. Throughout our presentation, if you have any questions, please feel free to enter them in the chat with a valid email that we can follow up with you on, or you can reach out to us via info@mbsg.com or email me directly at cjbowe@mbsg.com. Also, that is our info phone number there, 818-338-7220. And our website there at the bottom is mbsg.com. Today, we'll be reviewing automated billing in NetSuite, some of the benefits, different types, and how to set it up. So without further ado, we'll get into it. All right, so like I said, we'll be talking about the benefits of automated billing today, some different types of automated billing that you can set up in your system. We'll go over just some brief examples of those automated billing. We don't have the time today to go over everything that we're going to be covering and showing examples, but we will do our best to give you good information about those. We'll go over some additional points, just some things to tack on, some things that go well and work well with your automated billing processes once they're set up. And then at the very end, we'll recap everything that we've talked about today. So to start, one of the benefits of automated billing is that it saves time. So in this area, the whole goal of automating your billing process is to reduce the time that you're spending on manually entering in orders, invoices, manually going through the process of sending those out to your customers. So we do this through the use of billing schedules and scheduled billing operations. And also through memorized transactions. Those are different areas. The billing schedules and billing operations are more often used for orders, whereas memorized transactions are more often used for invoicing. And you see here that I have a couple of pictures of our NetSuite environment just to demonstrate how some of these areas are set up. So we'll go from left to right, top to bottom, starting with the memorized transaction definition here. You can see that I have an action, some different recurring information that I can set up, some different transactional options that I can give you. Different actions in the memorized transaction area include templating, which would be more of a manual entry. Every time you wanted to duplicate an invoice that you send out frequently, you would use that. Reminders, where it would remind you on a specific day that you've defined in that recurring area below. Or automatic, where it can automatically generate invoices for you on a certain schedule and leave those in pending approval status. And we'll get to more of the automation side of how to take those from their native pending approval status into an actual bill that gets sent to your customer. Moving on to the right side here up at the top, we will look at the billing schedule. These are often associated with creating sales orders and contracts and things like that, where you have installment billing and milestone billing. So you can see here between the purple and red boxes, I have initial amounts that I can charge for. I have monthly frequency or any sort of frequency, day, month, week, year, and I can dictate how many times I want those sales orders to charge, or how many invoices I want those orders to be split into. You can also bill in arrears if you have dynamic billing that needs to be having items changed, their amounts changed. You can do that here as well. On that lower screenshot, you can see we have a billing schedule operation. This is basically what we use in tandem with those billing schedules. You schedule operations that operate on specific dates or times and frequencies, as shown in the purple box there on that one. As well as you can dictate if it runs on a group of customers, a specific customer, or all customers in that green box there. Going on below that, you can see we have different types of billables that we can automate billing for. You'll notice that invoices are absent from that area. This is only for charges, time, expenses, items, and sales orders. And on the right, finally, in the blue box, you have how you would like those transactions to be sent out. So we're just going to go through a brief video here. I'll just go ahead and start it. In this, I will be showing you setting up the different types of transactions. The first one that I'm going to go through will be more of a prepaid contract, sales order contract for monthly services that we provide to our customers. In this case, we're going to be going over some dark web monitoring, some training that we give to our clients where we can prevent them from clicking on bad emails, bad websites, or things like that. So you'll see me go in here and start to enter some client information, enter some basic order information, and then you'll see me progress down to the bottom eventually to enter some item information. Just let the video catch up here. And when I go to enter this item information, you'll notice that my quantity, I'm putting in not my month-to-month quantity, but what my total contract quantity is here. So because I'm going to be attaching this to a billing schedule and a billing operation schedule, I want to get the full duration of my contract entered in on the order. So in this case, I'm billing for a full year, which would be 12 months. I'm going to go ahead and assign a billing schedule, which we've created before this webinar. This is a billing schedule that bills 12 times on a sales order. So it splits it out into specific invoices for that. So I'll go ahead and hit save, and we'll come back on the next slide and look at what the result of that scheduled billing for that sales order is. We'll go ahead and move on here. I'm going to show you how I go about entering a memorized invoice transaction. These ones are going to be more for duplicating an invoice. So instead of having a big sales order that gives me my total yearly amount, I'm going to create an invoice specifically for my month-to-month amount. In this case, I'm going to be doing workstation monitoring and dark web monitoring. And you'll notice that the quantity that I enter is just going to be that singular quantity for that month. The way that memorized transaction works is that it will be duplicating that transaction on the frequency that you want it to go and send things out. So I'll go ahead and let this catch up a little, go through the order entry or the invoice entry process here, excuse me. And you'll notice at the very bottom that I'm not going to attach a billing schedule to this one because this is an invoice instead of a sales order. So you'll see me enter these items here. Once again, you'll notice that I'm putting a singular quantity. When you do these memorized transactions that are essentially being duplicated every month, you just want to have that normal, what a monthly invoice would look like. So you'll go ahead and see me hit memorize here. It'll take me out to the scheduler for our memorized transactions. We referred to this in one of our previous slides, the different action types that you have associated with this. If you do automatic, it automatically generates that transaction type for you on the recurring dates that you have defined in the area that I'm currently walking through. So I'll go ahead and set this here. It'll run once a day, every day. Memorized transactions generally get generated every morning at 4 a.m. So we'll go ahead and hit OK on that, and it'll go ahead and save my transaction for me. So now we're going to move on to the next slide. This slide is going to show you what the end results of setting up those automated transactions look like, what the sales order invoice day-to-day would look like, what the memorized transaction generation would look like. So I start on a customer record here. I'm going to go ahead and look at my transactions tab for every transaction that I have on this customer. I'm going to go ahead and look at one of the sales orders that I've generated previous in the week to populate some data for this. You can see here that I have a billing schedule associated with this order right there. You can see at the top it says pending billing. In this case, it's going to have 12 increments, and you'll notice when I go to the related records tab here, it already has one of those invoices generated for me. We're going to go ahead and click on that. And in the center of the page, you can see that this was an invoice that was generated from sales order 1366. Now you will notice that this was only in pending approval status. We will talk about how to automate that backside of sending to your customers. Next, we're going to go look at one of our memorized invoices that was created. You'll notice on these screens that there is no reference to your memorized transaction. So that center area on the previous invoice where it said it was linked to a sales order, that field does not exist in this area. These are just being duplicated from a memorized invoice template, so to speak, and it just recreates it every month with an updated date, updated invoice number, and lets you go from there with the automation. Really quick, just to show you that these are generating, I'll go ahead and click on that customer again, walk back to one of my memorized invoices, and I'll click on that and you'll see that it'll take me to one of the invoices that it's generated for me. And this is the invoice that it generated. Okay. So from there, we will move on. We'll go ahead and look at one of the other benefits of this, increasing the cash flow of your business. So automating with NetSuite costs about a third of what it costs for a full-time employee to manually manage this area. By automating your process, you can ensure that all of your billing is timely, that the amount of manual entry errors are greatly reduced, that the amount of customers disputing your invoices are also minimized. And then I referenced this in previous slides, but workflows is really what facilitates this process between the memorized transactions and your billing operations and schedules. By creating certain workflows, you can automate the process. So if certain milestones are met, if certain form codes are used, or if certain customers or things like certain items, you can automate it so it skips that pending approval process and sends it directly out to your customer. So in this case, really, it once again, it costs about a third of what it costs for a full-time employee. It provides greater customer satisfaction because you're billing in a prompt manner. The errors are reduced, and so you're getting that to your customer as quickly as possible after completing your order fulfillment process or your contract or milestone. Another benefit is increased productivity of your employees. A happy employee is a more productive employee is what we like to say here. No employee wants to be working on rote tasks day in and day out and spending multiple hours doing the same sort of rote work. In this case, we're referring to the editing of invoices, the manual entry of invoices, confirming that you're using the right PDF templates, email outlines, confirming that the right items and amounts are on the order. By automating your system, you free up time for your employees to go and work on more critical tasks in your business, which allows them to be happier employees. They get to go and do the things that they like instead of doing the rote day-to-day tasks that can be automated by your system. Also, by streamlining this, you're going to benefit your customers. It's going to enhance their customer experience, and by enhancing their experience, you're enhancing your employee satisfaction as well. So really, on both sides of the fence, you're increasing satisfaction. Another benefit is that it improves the accuracy at which you are billing. A perfect example of this is, we say the phrase "too many cooks in the kitchen." In this case, when you have so many hands working in the same area and they're all making changes and there's a lot of moving parts, there's a lot of room for error when entering bills. Goes to the wrong person, wrong item gets invoiced, wrong amount gets invoiced, things like that. When you have billing contracts or recurring items and things like that, you're able to accurately set up those invoices or orders that are recurring with correct information and essentially use a clockmaker's mentality of winding it up and then letting it run on its own. So by automating those tasks that are super repetitive in your system, you can cut down on the errors that end up going customer facing, which enhances your customer's experience. It builds your relationship with your customer and makes your customer trust you more. It improves your relationship with them through the consistent accuracy that you're providing to them. All right, so moving on from benefits, we'll talk about some types of billing that can be automated. So one of them would be goods and services, specifically in a warehouse manufacturing system. So automating a system where you have warehouse workers going in, scanning items, fulfilling orders, packing them and shipping them. If your system is set up to where it updates those statuses of those orders and recognizes fulfillment and complete fulfillments and shipping. It allows for more prompt billing to your customers. Just picture that you work in a very high volume manufacturing and distribution environment, and picture it with and without automation. Just cutting down on the workload of your day-to-day or your end of day. With automation, everything is going into a system immediately. Everything is happening live in real time. You don't have to wait for your warehouse staff to pass along orders that have been completely fulfilled or shipped to your billing department at the end of the day and make sure that they reconcile all orders that have been fulfilled. That would be an example of a manual process without automation, where they print out order fulfillment pages physically, and they go through their fulfillment process using pen and paper, and they hand it to their billing department at the end of the day. Your billing department is sometimes going to spend a couple hours every day confirming that all the orders that have been shipped or fulfilled through your warehouse have been accurately invoiced to your customers. So by using a WMS and automated billing in tandem with one another, you can greatly cut down on the time that task takes and the handoff from one area of your business to another. Another type that can be automated is subscription billing. We do this a lot here at Millennium, specifically the prepaid. We also do some in arrears billing, but some good examples of this, as Millennium is an MSP, is the contracts that I mentioned earlier, where we train employees regardless of how many employees we're training, how often we need to train them. We train them on dark web monitoring, whether it's to spot suspicious emails, suspicious online activity, things like that. Those are prepaid agreements, right? So we charge $50 a month, $600 for the year. You can automate those invoices to go out every month via memorized transactions or via order entry and splitting it through 12 different invoices. That's a good example of prepaid contracts that can be automated. Not really much is changing on those contracts. It's a flat amount regardless of how much is being used by your customer. And you can set those up and run without having to worry about those. Another example is in arrears billing. A good example of this is if for us, we provide cloud storage and cloud hosting to our customers. So sometimes, depending on the amount of cloud storage that is being used month to month, we can set up in arrears billing to allow us to at least generate an invoice, even though it's sitting in pending approval status. The template remains the same. The only thing that's dynamic month to month is that amount that we need to change, but no need to have the rote process of going and creating everything about that transaction every month. There's no need to take the time to do that. You can cut down on the amount of time that it takes for you to get those dynamic in arrears billings out the door into your customers. Another example is warehouse distribution. So we alluded to this a little bit earlier with the WMS, but automated billing processes, efficiency in your warehouse, and inventory management. When you are updating your system in real time, it gives full transparency to your employees and to your customers of what's going on in your business. So by having a system where you have tablets, handheld devices that are scanning barcodes for fulfillment processes and shipping processes, it'll update in real time inside of your system those orders and mark them so that they can go out and get shipped immediately. So this ensures that every portion of your business is accurate and front to back. Your inventory counts are accurate. Your item, the amounts you're charging your customers are accurate. The way in which the invoices are getting generated and sent out are also accurate. It just streamlines the operations from front to back, really, for your business. By improving the order fulfillment process, you facilitate your billing process, and it allows you to use dashboards to basically monitor and gut check your business and confirm, and really only need to check in when things are going wrong or you have unique scenarios. We'll go through some examples of automated billing. So service contracts are a big one. The biggest example we can think of in this area would be construction contracts or landscaping contracts that are triggered by status changes, event changes, milestones that are getting met within your contract. So for example, if you have a construction contract where they're building an overhang for a freeway or something like that, maybe they should be invoiced when the big concrete pillars go up that are going to be holding up the freeway or something like that. You're able to accurately have either item fulfillment milestones where they're completing certain parts of it or certain fulfillment components of the project, or you can go about it through percentage milestones or status changes. Am I 25% complete with the product? Am I 50% complete with the product? And those trigger based upon those milestones that are getting met, as well as you can also have it change based on status. So if it goes from pending fulfillment of items into a pending billing status, the system can recognize that it's been fulfilled fully and automatically perform that billing step for you. Something else to note in this is that when you automate certain milestones and status changes and events that occur on contracts, you no longer have that need to devote an employee to manually manage these contracts in your system, because the system is doing the monitoring for you, and the only time you're going to need to intervene is in unique scenarios or when things are breaking down in the process. Some additional points that we have today for automated billing is that it reduces your manual end-of-day tasks when your orders are fulfilled and then trigger automated billing. So in this case, I said it a little bit earlier, but it costs a third of what it costs for a full-time employee to automate your billing process inside of NetSuite. So really, this is just beneficial for your business as a whole. I made a reference to reducing the amount of time in which your billing department needs to spend reconciling orders that have been fulfilled or shipped from your warehouse. If they don't have to spend 2 to 3 hours a day going back and confirming that they have accurately billed for all of the orders that have been fulfilled or shipped, then that frees them up time to do other things in your business and or pay attention to other more urgent tasks that may need tending to. Monitoring and dashboards. So I made a point about it earlier about gut checks and how using a dashboard, once you start to automate your WMS and automated billing processes together, you can use this dashboard sort of as you use your car dashboard. When no lights are on and nothing is flashing and glaring at me, such as the check engine light or something like that, I know that everything in my car is running healthy. I know that it's a well-oiled machine. In this case, you can actually color code your dashboards to recognize issues inside of your automation process or to spot unique scenarios in the process so that you're able to quickly address anything that comes up. You would look at this screen, and if you saw a bunch of zeros on the screen, you would know your automation is going through okay because, you don't have any orders to fulfill, there's nothing to approve, there's nothing to invoice, you know that everything's going out correctly. Whereas if you see things like, oh, my orders to fulfill goes into the red, or my invoices to approve or sales orders to invoice ends up in the red, you know that you have a couple of things to go and check on. Maybe you have a unique scenario going on where a salesperson has made a note for you to go and check something, or a customer asked a question about something. You're able to address those quickly. But for the 99% scenario where the orders should just operate as normal, this will just run right through the system, and you'll know that it's going well by your dashboard reminders. Another point to add on to this that kind of is the other side to the coin that is automated billing is automating your collections process. This frees up time for your billing department. It streamlines the monthly statements that your customers get, and it improves your AR turnover. This is in tandem with the idea that it only costs a third to automate your billing process of what it costs to hire a full-time employee to run these manually. It's the same thing on the flip side of this, where automated collections, prompt invoicing and prompt collection notices to your clients allows less time for breakdown in chain of command and business process. You're able to accurately and quickly notify your customers when any sort of invoice becomes delinquent. You don't have to devote any more manual time to have an employee go and figure out when people are delinquent, pick up the phone, call them. No one wants to get a call from an employee that's nagging them to pay their invoices. It's better to just have the system automate it for you. It keeps your employees from having to maybe possibly degrade the relationship with their customer. Maybe they annoy their customer by calling them instead. The system, they can be annoyed at the system and still have that good camaraderie with the employee that they're speaking with. It gives them a chance to free up time so your employees can actually enhance the customer experience, and your employees can actually have better satisfaction by not having to make these phone calls where they feel like they are nagging a customer to pay their bill. And with that, we will go through a recap of what we've talked today. So really the key points today are efficiency, accuracy, reducing costs, customer and employee satisfaction, and scaling your business. And we'll just go top to bottom here. Efficiency, reducing manual labor and speeding up your billing process and improving your employee productivity. By automating your billing process, you are saving, it's a third of the cost to automate it as it is to keep someone in-house that manually monitors these processes. It frees up that employee to go and perform other critical tasks inside of your business instead of having to monitor rote invoicing and billing that should otherwise just be business as usual. It speeds up the billing process because people don't have to manually go through, click 3 buttons and invoice a customer. Your system can automatically recognize who this should go to, what the invoice should look like, and it just automatically generates those emails for you and sends them out. In terms of accuracy, clockmaker's mentality in terms of winding up in your automated billing process and letting it run on its own. You don't have as many people making changes to orders, contracts, invoices. They aren't trying to remember what they did a month ago for a client. It automatically generates transactions based on what you've set up initially and then runs from there. So it cuts down on the amount of errors that end up becoming customer facing and ensures that they're receiving correct billing. In terms of saving costs, once again, costs about a third of what it costs for a full-time employee for NetSuite to run your automated billing as it does for an employee to sit there and monitor it. So it frees up time for them. You don't have to pay an employee to go and do this. You can have that employee available to perform other things throughout your business. It also cuts down on material costs. Having the electronic option of automating your billing and sending it out electronically to your customers, instead of having to print out invoices on paper and put them inside envelopes and stamp the envelopes and send them out via normal postal service. You no longer have that need for buying paper, buying postage, buying envelopes. Customer and employee satisfaction. By providing prompt service to your customers and freeing up your employees for other tasks, you're increasing satisfaction on both sides of the fence. Your employees are much happier and are better servicing your customers, as well as your customers are getting the benefit of automated servicing and streamline of your business. So they're more satisfied, they trust you more, and they value you as a vendor more. And finally, the scalability of your business. This is really a collaboration of everything that comes in. So by freeing up employee time, by automating certain areas of your business, it allows your employees to go and generate more business. Maybe they're going to go get more sales contracts. Maybe they're going to have more billable time because they're able to free themselves up to go and do work that they would not normally otherwise be able to do because they spend 2 to 3 hours a day confirming that billing is going out correctly. So by doing those things, it frees up time for scaling in terms of bringing in new business or continuing to perform tasks for your customers in a timely manner, but also it allows you to send out invoices in a more timely manner and more bulk of invoices. So your system's not going to get tired. It's not going to have a sick day. Every day, the time that you tell it and dictate, set it up for that it's going to execute those automated billings for you and send them out immediately, whether you have 50 or whether you have 2,000. It's going to go through that process in a fraction of the time that an employee would be able to go through it. So that is all I have for us today. Thank you for attending our seminar. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact us at info@mbsg.com or call us at 818-338-7220. Once again, my name is Christian. I am one of the solutions consultants here at Millennium Business Solutions Group, and thank you for attending. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.